There was one boxing match in the Olympics of 2024 that garnered a lot of controversy. And I could, go off about it and give you the backstory, or I could actually show you the full clip of the fight, because a lot of people have been talking about this, but they haven't really been sharing the full unedited clip of the fight. So here is the fight. This fight was between Angela Carini and Imane Khelif, and I'm sure this extremely biased title in this YouTube video is going to insinuate. There's some reasons why this might have been a little bit controversial. And you didn't see or know any backstory beyond about what's happening here, you would have been very surprised to see the fight called so quickly. Even I was like, because I've seen some edited clips and they were like, ooh, Imane really got her with that hit, but I didn't really see any massive blows. It really just seems like Angela Carini was losing at this point in the fight. From the outside looking in, if you're just looking at this unedited segment, I wish there was a translation of what Angela Carini was saying here. It's not really easy to tell what exactly she's saying here. Looks confused. I guess I won. I guess I guess it's over already. This was quick. This is not what I expected. That's kind of the reaction that the vibe that I'm getting off of her response here.
Referee calls.
Yeah, like that glance, looking around, Imane's bro, what's going on? Why are you so mad? I didn't do nothing. The entirety of the fight, that this was both the fight and the initial reaction. People were talking about her breaking down and crying. That segment includes the entirety of that fight, and as I'm sure you could tell from the title of this video, right here that I'm playing, calling Imane Khelif a male. The controversy stems from claims that Imane Khelif is not actually a woman, but is a trans woman, and is therefore using that as an excuse to just run around as a man, boxing and beating up women. That's kind of the claims that we've sort of seen from a lot of people. Now, those people are not entirely on their own when it comes to this. So the International Boxing Association had claimed that through a DNA test, Imane Khelif has XY chromosomes. Right? It says here, International Boxing Association Russian President Umar Kremlev claimed that DNA test results showed the two athletes, one of which is Imane Khelif, showed the two athletes have XY chromosomes, but the results were never published. There's also another layer of controversy where apparently, and I haven't dug into this, this might be true, this might not be true, but apparently Imane Khelif was allowed to fight as a woman by the International Boxing Association until she defeated a Russian boxer. They were like, whoa, that's a bridge too far. And then she was found to have XY chromosomes. Apparently, those are the claims, anyways. There also was this here from a separate organization. So different organization, different source here. Therefore, let's see here. The World Boxing Organization has come out and claimed that Imane Khelif is actually a male. So here's the quote from Istvan Kovacs, the European vice president of the World Boxing Organization. Here's the quote: "The problem was not with the level of Khelif's testosterone, but that can be adjusted now, because that can be adjusted nowadays, but with the result of the gender test, which clearly revealed that the Algerian boxer is biologically male." So we have two sources here claiming that Imane Khelif is actually male. So, I mean, it seems, you got two sources saying that Imane Khelif is male, meaning that she's a man. So, is this necessarily true? Well, we've also got this here from her father, claiming that the daughter is actually female.
His daughter is in the middle of one of the ugliest Olympics controversies of recent times. But Amir Khelif from Algeria insists his daughter is a champion.
I wish I was able to find an unedited version of the interview. Because Imane Khelif is the champion of Algeria, and thank God having such a daughter is honorable because she's a champion. She honored me. Hold on, wait. She honored me, and I encourage her, and I hope she will get the medal in Paris. We want her to win that medal with the Algerian flag. The attacks against her are immoral. It is not fair. Imane is a little girl that has loved sport since she was 6 years old. She used to play football. So the father claims that Imane is actually female. That's the claim for the father. So there's some dispute here, because we've also got some people saying that Imane Khelif is a cisgender woman or whatever. Now, the general consensus seems to be that, again, kind of this does make sense considering the fact that, we have two people basically saying, whoa, we found that she had XY chromosomes, so that makes this person a male, whatever. Well, the general consensus seems to be that she has something known as a DSD, which is known as differences in sex development. Now, this is actually somewhat similar to being intersex, by the way. So it's kind of like in the middle, not necessarily male, not 100% male, not 100% female. This is kind of this is from the Independent here. This is an explanation of what a DSD is. I've also heard some rumors that she has something called Swier's syndrome. I hope I'm saying it right, Swier's syndrome. But this is the Independent's general definition of a DSD. So it says here, the term differences in sex development, or DSD, is used to refer to a wide range of different scenarios, with the NHS describing it as a group of rare conditions involving genes, hormones, and reproductive organs, including genitals, which means a person's sex development is different from to most other people's. Individuals can either have sex chromosomes generally linked with being female, XX chromosomes, or generally associated with being a man, XY chromosomes, yet have reproductive organs and genitals that may look different. The NHS states that a person may have a woman also have testicles inside their body. Sometimes the testicles might not work properly. It has some people with a very rare type of DSD have both ovarian and testicular tissue, sometimes both one ovary and one testis. Their genitals may be female or male, or could look different from either. So you've got a situation where, and I think this honestly for a lot of people should have been expected to happen at some point. We've got a whole lot of fighters and a whole lot of athletes and people coming together from all across the world, and you've got a large number of them. So at some point, you are going to come across a situation where you've got someone who's has a genetic anomaly. Is it 100% in like the biological male category, but isn't 100% in the biological female category? And I'm just gonna go with the consensus here. So here for the sake of discussion, that Imane Khelif has a DSD, isn't necessarily male or isn't necessarily female. I completely understand if she has this DSD, which kind of was discovered by testing for like the testosterone and chromosomes and all of that. I understand why she would choose to present as female if she does have like what outwardly looks like female parts, making her female in her own eyes and in her family's eyes. It would make sense for her to identify as a female. But I think one thing that the right, when it comes to fighting for women's rights in sports, have not really taken the time to think about is, first of all, when it comes to these types of stories, is it actually true, right, that this person is trans, or is like a man masquerading as a woman so that she can beat up a woman on a stage in front of the whole world. But on top of that, I think that a lot of people haven't really taken into account, well, hold on, there are people with legitimate genetic anomalies out there. They're like intersex people with DSDs, various conditions that sort of kind of blur the lines between male and female. And so this brings up a very important question, I think, that a lot of people have not been thinking about, which is, what do you do when you have a case of someone who doesn't necessarily fit into one category or the other? Should someone who is intersex, someone who has a DSD, be allowed to compete against or fight against women, especially when they have a high level of testosterone? That's a question that I think people really should be having right now. People should be having this discussion. They're fighting over whether or not this person is cis or trans, whatever. Like, this is a legitimate question because, look, intersex people are out there. People with DSDs are out there. So there needs to be a solution for what to do when you come across another person like that. And I think a lot of people haven't really taken firm stances on that. I think that there really should be some sort of agreement as to like, hey, this is how we deal with this type of person, and how this is how this person is allowed to compete. And I think that there's not really a concrete answer to this. It can be tough when, you know, you might have someone who has more testosterone than a woman, who that might perhaps lead them to have skeletal structure or whatever, or muscle structure or whatever, that would give that person a biological advantage over women. But if you were to put that person in the men's category, that person's still not like, you know, doesn't 100% fit inside the male category. So that person might actually have a genetic disadvantage when fighting against the men. So, you know, what exactly do you do there? If you're going to be extremely cautious for the health of women, I think most people say, well, if you have a certain level of testosterone, just fight with the men. And it's a very easy and simplistic solution to this problem. I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers here. I haven't even firmly established my own position on this. I just think this is a question that people should be having. But if people care the utmost about the health of female contestants, a fair position might be to say, hey, if you got a certain level of testosterone, just fight with the men, and you know that solves that problem. But I also understand that if you technically don't fit 100% within the male box or the female box, that you do get to choose what do you identify as, and sort of which spaces you occupy, because it's not necessarily like you're some man invading a female space, because you're not 100% a male, right? Or you're not 100% a female. Like it goes both ways. So this is a very tricky conundrum, and actually, I would like to know your guys' thoughts on the comments and the live chat or whatever. What do you guys think should be the solution for what happens when you've got an intersex or person with a DSD wishing to compete with women? Should that person be allowed to compete with the women? Should that person be allowed to compete with the women with qualifiers or conditions, such as like having a certain threshold for testosterone? Like, what do you guys think the solution for this should be? One more thing I want to note before I bring this video to a close, though, is that the fact that Imane, Khelif's opponent here, I think, hold on, I had the name up here, right? Angela Carini, she withdrew after basically 1 to 2 minutes. Honestly, all of the other stuff in the political noise aside, I don't really like that Angela conceded in this fight. I think the problem is she decided to step into the ring. Because look, it was not breaking news that Khelif had some controversy surrounding her gender, because she had been denied the ability to fight on the world stages, I think dating back to at least 2022, if not earlier. And so, with this thing being something that was known for people who were tracking all of the Olympic athletes, like some people were actually trying to stir up some controversy because she was allowed to compete in the first place. With this something being known going into the fight, I think Angela Carini should not have gone up on that stage if she was not prepared to finish that fight. I think it's likely that she knew who Imane was, the controversies around the testosterone and all of that. And so to me, it's like, hey, look, if you're an Olympian, right? The one thing about the Olympians is that they train extremely hard and they never give up. Those are like the two things that basically are like the hallmarks for being an Olympian. Like if you look at it, the backstories of all the Olympians, that's the one thing that they all have in common. And I think she sort of proved herself to be the exception to the rule here, because she went up on the stage and said, you know what, I quit. I got hit too hard in the nose. Like that's literally what she did. And regardless of whether or not Imane Khelif is a male, let's say Imane Khelif is a male, right? And just for the sake of argument here, even so, you don't go up on that stage if you're not prepared to finish the fight. I think that even if she went on and if she went up there and she regretted it while the fight was taking place, she should have finished. She shouldn't have just conceded and thrown her chance at winning the gold away. Or at least if you're going to lose, at least lose having tried your best, not being like, you know what, I got hit too hard in the nose, I'm gonna walk off the stage. To me, like, there was just something that rubbed me the wrong way about that. I don't really like that. I know a lot of people are like saying like, oh, she's some sort of hero, and they're right trying to venerate her like she's like the second coming of Kyle Rittenhouse or something. But still, I don't know. I don't really like the visual of an Olympian just quitting and giving up because she was like, I got hit too hard in the face. Like I'm not a big fan of that at all. So those are my general thoughts about this whole scenario. I'm not really going to plant my flag down too hard, especially because this is a situation that's got a lot of nuance in it, and it's raising a question that I think a lot of right wingers and left wingers alike have not really been tackling when it comes to men and women's sports, and the people who don't fit into either box, which bucket they should be placed in when it comes to who they compete against. But anyways, like I said, let me know in the comments below or in the live chat what you guys think of that whole situation, because it's a very interesting question. And I think there are valid answers on both sides as far as like who intersex people and BSD people should be allowed to compete against. But I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. So let me know what you guys think if you want to. I'm not going to make you.